Janna is here with me today, and she recently went on the Egypt pilgrimage with me in April. And she's going to be sharing today a little bit more about why she chose to come. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with her just to see what her process was and her experiences was in this journey. So, welcome, Janna.
Thank you for
And
having me.
you're welcome. Thank you for being here with me and taking the time to be here.
You're welcome.
So first of all, I'm really curious, like, have you ever been on a pilgrimage before?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not ever been on one.
Okay. So this was your first. So
My first.
amazing. So what drew you to Egypt? What drew you to this particular journey? Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Well, aside from okay, well, there's two things that pop into my mind. I've always wanted to see Egypt,
Mhm.
and knowing you for as long as I've known you and your teachings, that really drew me to go with your group. The wisdom and the knowledge that you share is was very pivotal in the decision. And I knew that you had done a pilgrimage in um, England, and I really heard great things about it. So that's really what drew me in relation to going to Egypt. And even bigger in relation to that was, learning the journey of the chakras in relation to the Nile River and all the temples,
Mm.
which, you know, is what I do teach as well within, the pain freedom method and in my clinic. Um, but that was the biggest thing or those were the biggest things that drew me to go particularly with you and Egypt.
Hmm. Amazing. So could you tell me
Mm.
a little bit more about what you offer and how you work with the chakras and what you do with your clients as well?
So it's the base main thing that I do is I help individuals who suffer from chronic pain,
Mhm.
and I teach them. I work with them in the clinic. So usually, what happens if you don't find me online, I have individuals that find me in clinic or they fly here to the clinic, and they usually work with me because I've they've gone to everybody and they've not been able to heal their chronic pain. And I basically teach them how to heal their chronic pain through their emotional state. A lot of people, I think there's more awakening of it now, but back when I first started, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I had seen repeat patterns of individuals who had chronic pain, but it wasn't consistent on a day-to-day basis. So I deal with individuals who have had trauma, who are emotionally in an emotional state of distraught, but don't realize that the pain has anything to do with their emotional state. So I do work physically on the body doing myomassology as a practitioner, but I also do coaching, counseling, rehabilitative therapy in relation to Pilates and teaching in relation to chakras, so your energy centers,
Mhm.
and dealing with those emotions. So in general, teaching you how to realign those energy centers in relation to the emotions, which is hand in hand with what we learned in Egypt.
Mhm.
And then most recent, which if you want, we'll come back to this, my new journey with the Yana Arsenal method, which was really, I feel like, a seed of birth from going to Egypt.
Hmm. Yeah. And I know I've had some sessions with you too, and they're super powerful. So I love how you combine a lot of different modalities and it's your own, you know, birthing of what came through you, right? And even so,
Mm.
we will get into this new thing that you are offering and this new creation that's coming through you, which I'm really excited to hear more about as
Mm.
well. So before we get into that, what was it like for you before you went on the journey? So if you could maybe share before the journey and then during the journey and after the journey, like what was that? What did that look like for you? How did that unfold? What changed in your life? Yeah, just a little bit more about that.
So, as you know, I had a journey of massive loss in my life. So, I had lost both my parents, and it's still very fresh. Actually, today would be the day that we would have buried my mom last year.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we lost my father. Well, rewind. I had major surgery in 24 and was healing from that. That was a massive journey.
Mhm.
And then only a couple of months later, my father died very suddenly. And then my mother fell ill just a little bit after that. And we took care of her until she passed away just last year. And I
Mhm.
really felt like I was in this fog of grief. And, for anybody who ever watches this, you know what I'm talking about, where you feel like you're a dandelion in the wind and you no longer have roots, so you're just basically blowing away in the wind. And you feel very lost and have a hard time being in a crowd of people and maybe potentially don't sleep well. So, really down the road of grief.
Mhm.
And I had I did have a feeling that there was going to be some type of renewal. Not that I had an expectation,
Mhm.
uh, but when I found out you were the one, like that you were putting it on, and you and I had spoken, it was a hell yes to going.
Mhm.
Even in the midst of everything that was going on in my life, I knew I had to go. And I thought there was going to be a little bit more time to prep to go, but it was like you you basically made this decision. This is when it was being put on, and I was like, it's a hell yes. So
Mhm.
um yeah, my emotional state was not the best before going. Um but I knew that there was, I was on a healing journey in relation to grief, and I knew that there was going to be some type of awakening. I just didn't know what that would look like.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that and sending you
Mm,
love and blessings on this day
thank
of
you.
the memory of your mother. Yeah.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you for being here on this day too.
Mm, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
And all I could think of when you said that was Isis, and you said the word renewal, and I actually just wrote a post about Isis being connected to this Lionsgate portal that we're in and the star Sirius, and how she is about renewal and rebirth. And it took me back to that moment in time on that journey together. So, um, yeah, that mother energy is so strong right now. Very,
Well,
very
and if
strong.
you don't mind, actually the day of Isis, I've got a sheet of goosebumps right now. Like I feel like every hair on my body is standing up.
Yeah, same.
Um, So the day of Isis, that was our fourth day in the journey. And it's funny because my favorite number is four.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a day I was really looking forward to. And I didn't feel the best. I and I remember um, standing in what's the proper word for it? It was where her altar was.
So the yeah, basically the altar room, the high of the Holy of Holies. Sorry,
The Holy of
trying to
Holies.
get it
Okay.
out of my mouth.
So,
Yes, the Holy of Holies.
so was standing in the Holy of Holies,
Hmm.
and I remember with our unks, and I remember feeling so ill, but like walking through I want to say each gateway. That's the way I viewed it when we were walking through,
Hmm.
and it felt like there was just more and more and more of that energy, and I was not well. I remember one of our wonderful ladies who were with us, Arena, and she looked at me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I honestly felt like I was going to pass out.
Mm.
And but the breath work that we did, and the feeling really held in that room.
Hmm.
So once I was leaving, this was a big part. I remember Fatma brought me out. And as we were walking out of each uh, archway or portal, I felt this pull at the back of so where your solar plexus is, but in the back.
Hmm.
And it was almost like something was being pulled out of the back of me energetically. And the best way to describe it is if you were to take a balloon and you were to uh, static on the skin. It
Hmm.
felt like that, but much stronger. So it felt like as I was walking out of the Isis temple, I felt this pulling out of my back, and emotionally, I started to feel more heightened. So that by the time I left, I was hysterically crying, like the emotional release I had. And I know that Fatma and Rena, when we were outside the temple, Rena did say to me, this is the temple that you really release emotions, and it is of the mother. And she had no clue, yeah, that I had lost my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even now I still get emotional thinking
Hmm.
about it, because you know, the journey of, losing your mother, for those of you that have lost your mother, or, you know, it's an indescribable feeling. And the emotions that I had gone through in the last 2 years of, you know, losing all of that, I feel like the black hole, or I don't even know what to really describe it in words, but there's just this feeling that you have where you walk around with part of your heart missing. That's actually a good way of saying that. And you have this ache. And I feel like as I was walking out, it was like that was filling up, and the darkness, or the void, was being pulled out. Actually, that's a good way of describing it.
Wow.
So it was absolutely magnificent in relation to, that specific temple, and my mind frame when I was in there. And I remember we had gotten on the boat, and then went to the old temple.
Hmm.
And I remember like the feeling of moving through the water. Like we particularly didn't get into the water, or,
Hmm.
submerging our bodies, but moving through the water in the boat, I felt like it was washing away, or cleansing and renewing, who I am now, and leaving behind, what was not serving my soul any longer.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
so powerful. And I could
Hmm.
feel like everything you said through you. And just even thinking about being there and witnessing what you went through, like it was a big release. It was really, really big. And I mean, the perfect temple to be doing all of that in with the
But
second chakra, like it's.
I wanted to make sure I say this too.
Mhm.
For anybody that is deciding if they ever were to go on this pilgrimage, it was one of the most five-star events of my life. And, in the moment where I was not well, I was really taken back at how well the guards took care of me. The locals took care of me. Everybody had a hand in making sure I was taken care of. And yeah, I was really not surprised, but I was honored. I was like, wow, you guys, can't believe everybody's just here to, here's Turkish coffee with uh lime. It was lime water. And I was like, you want me to drink that?
And it worked.
And it worked. I could not believe, even to this day when I say it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I honestly can't believe that it worked.
Right.
But the whole entire thing is I was so very well taken care of.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
It really is the people there. They care so much, and it is like maybe you can speak into, and I guess I feel like you already have, but about the safety about being there. Like it feels
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're,
yeah,
yeah.
I at no point felt unsafe.
Hmm.
And with our ladies group, so
Hmm.
let's set aside the fact that Fatma and Rena always had our back.
Hmm.
So there was nobody to be in our face, and nobody touching us, or nobody anywhere near our auric space or impeding on our auric space.
Hmm.
They were phenomenal. And at no point did I feel uncomfortable or feel like I had to be looking over my shoulder. I didn't feel any of that ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
And even our ladies group. So I've never really been, I'm trying to scan my mind right now. I'm pretty sure I've never really been in a situation where it's just a big women's group. This was
Hmm.
my first time. And, you know, like our sisters, like we became so very, very close. And I still keep in contact with basically all the women that were there. And we had each other's backs and we really held space. There was no uh, impeding on each other's space.
Hmm.
And it was really just phenomenal. Really, really, really phenomenal. This is another, if I could share this as well.
Of course.
I always woke up really, really early, and the energy of Egypt when you get up early and you can see the sun rise,
Mm.
and especially being near or on the Nile was phenomenal. Like I
Mm.
remember sitting there journaling while everybody was, I was assuming they were sleeping, right? I didn't really see them because this is in my own room, but um, just being in that energy, that's one thing I kind of have a bit of homesickness from. I feel like I was at home because
Mm.
feeling that energy in the morning and the, you know, here in Ontario, the sun is really far away from us. Where
Yes.
there, it feels like you could just reach out and touch the sun.
Hmm.
And I really feel like it embraces you and cloaks you, if that makes
Mm.
sense. So that's
Mm.
another part that I really, really enjoyed every day.
Mm. And
Mhm.
that was when you were on the private boat on the Dahabea
The
accommodation?
Dahabea, yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Dahabea. I would I know I would go in and I'd sneak and get some water, and so I wasn't waking anybody up, right? Because you know, the top part of the boat is wood. So
Yes.
I was trying just to be very, you know, quiet and not to wake anybody. So I would go make myself a little coffee, and it's just beautiful. Like the whole, even the area where we would do our circle
Hmm.
outside of the, you know, right on the platform where, not inside where it was air conditioned, but outside where all the beautiful seating was. It was just wonderful. And you could see the sunrise, you see the sunset.
Mm.
And yeah, that and again that on the diabetes we felt, I felt very, very safe.
Mm.
And I feel like the crew took care of us. Like they really had our backs. Like every single time we came back, they welcomed us in open arms and had, you know, fresh juice. And yeah, it was phenomenal. And you know, there were days where we were a bit pooped from the amount of walking and, you know, being in the energy of the temples. Like there's a lot to absorb. So when
Right.
we came back, to be welcomed with such open arms was phenomenal.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It truly, like, I remember that feeling of I'm home,
Yes.
as we would approach the boat, I'm home, you know.
Mhm. I know.
And it's, yeah. I mean, one day a journey on the Dahabea the whole time would be the
I
best.
know. I remember
Yeah.
us all talking about that. And I don't, I'm very lucky and very fortunate. I do not experience vertigo or any
Mm.
displeasing feelings within my body being on the boat. It almost feels like I'm in the womb
Mm.
where, you know,
Mm.
you're laying in bed and you feel just it's not even, most of the time you couldn't feel anything
Hmm.
because it is so subtle. But the times that you could feel a bit of it, it felt great when we were traveling. To me,
Mm.
it felt great. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
And I'll speak into that in case anyone's watching and you do suffer from any kind of motion sickness. That is something I've always had issues with, but I had the wristbands and they are on the little acupressure points and it helped me. Like I was able to get through it and it was not a problem at all. And I mean, for me, I really feel like everything gets me dizzy very easily. Like that's just how I've always
Mhm.
been sitting in a back seat of a car, like different things like this. And I know a few of the women had their wristbands
Yes.
on. Some had the behind the ear little patches as
Patches.
well. and sometimes doubling up on them because road trips and things like this. So there, you know, so there, until we tell the driver that to drive like all the women are pregnant in the car, and then everything's okay. I think that was that what Fatma said? You have to drive like they're all
Pregnant.
pregnant, and he's like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Okay, then you finally got it.
Yeah, that was great. So, but yeah, definitely it's something that can be worked through and worked with. And it's, for the most part, I feel like when the boat is sailing, it's totally fine. It's mostly
Mhm.
like when it's parked and there's cruise ships going by that there's any kind of waves. Other than that, it's like the Nile is quite still,
Very calm. Yeah, it's
very,
very
very
calm.
calm
Even when
waters.
I feel like when those boats were going by, I did not feel I didn't feel them.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't feel them.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
So
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on the individual and what they feel. But it's great that they have things out there that do assist in it.
Totally,
Mhm.
totally, totally. I also wonder, I know this is just a practical thing. I wonder if it's like the placement of where you are staying on the boat too, because I was at the very end of the boat. So I wonder if that shifts it. Who knows, right?
That,
Like,
you do actually have a point on that. There probably definitely is.
yeah, yeah, I would think so. As opposed to being
Mhm.
somewhere, I know you were staying more in the middle, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Starting in the middle for sure, I was.
yeah, yeah. So another question coming up, what was the highlight of your journey? If you can, if there's
Oh
one
my
or two,
gosh.
I mean, I know the journey's the journey, and if I could do it all over again with the same group, I would be like, yes, let's do it. I know I say that all the time because it was great. But yeah, what would be your highlight moment slash moments if there's more
Oh
than
my
one that come to
goodness.
mind?
I want to say Sekhmet was a really big one, and
Hmm.
well, Isis was a big one.
Hmm.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, that was phenomenal too. I feel like I need to speak in relation to the Pyramid of Giza.
Hmm. Yeah, let's do it.
Uh, yeah, because even, the person you are when you go to Egypt, I will say this, the person you are going to Egypt is not the person that comes home. It cracks you open in a way that I don't even want to say I have words for it,
Hmm.
uh, but in a very, very good way. And in the Pyramid of Giza, I know I'm going to mention the crystal thing. So
Yeah.
we had crystals with us, and I'm a crystal lover, as a lot of people are, and I was really excited to be able to bring in this particular crystal with me. And the guards took it away, as you know, and I can only imagine. I think my gaze looking at you was shooting fire out of my eyeballs because you said to me,
I know.
like
I
literally, I'm
remember.
pretty sure, because you said to me, you're like, Yana, just let it go. Just, just let it go. And I was like, for the love of cheese and crackers. I was like, all right. But I was like, that better be down here when I come back,
Mhm.
or I'm not leaving until somebody gives it back to me. Anyways,
Mm.
so the descent or the ascent all the way up, I didn't have an issue with it whatsoever. I actually found it very, I felt the buildup as you were climbing.
Mhm.
There was this elevation in frequency.
Mhm.
And when we got into the king's chamber, it was like, wow. But the bigger part of doing meditation, I don't
Mhm.
know, should I give any details? That should kind of be for anybody that I feel like that should be.
Yeah, like just
I'll give you some highlights.
you
So
can,
when I
yeah.
was when I was in the pyramid, because I don't these are beautiful surprises for anybody that goes, and it
Mhm.
may be different, right, from one journey to the next.
Mhm.
But there was a point in being in there where I felt that crystal in my hand. And I was like, am I really feeling this? And, you know, when we talk about vibrational frequency, everything is vibration. How you think, how you feel,
Mhm.
this phone. uh, everything that's around us is vibrational frequency. And at that point, after I felt that crystal, I had a moment where I really don't want to go into personal detail, but I feel like there was a part of my soul that was retrieved that had been missing since I was in my 20s. And I did share that personal experience with you because I just could not believe it. And I did have a dear close friend that uh, did come into the pyramid with me, but they were not there. Like they weren't there physically. It was just they came in spiritually. And it was just such a moving experience. And, feeling that peace that was gone for so long, coming back was, I felt more whole
Hmm.
once I left the pyramid. So that was it was very unexpected. Uh, Not that I want to say I missed what was missing for so many years, but that was a big thing.
Hmm.
And then um, I did get my crystal back, just so everybody knows.
Yes.
I did get my crystal back. Uh, but it was also a lesson too of coming home and really releasing attachment to
Mhm.
the physical aspect of our existence as souls in this human body.
Mhm.
uh, that I could go on and on about that, but that was a little piece that I did carry home that was massive
Hmm.
for the next chapter or two in my life. Um, Sekhmet was, yeah, when you are in that chamber and you experience looking into the abyss, because I don't want to give anything away, but you look into the abyss, you feel like the abyss stares right through your soul,
Hmm.
you know. So that there was a lot of, it was like time stood still. It's
Hmm.
like time stood still. And this is the other thing too. Things that don't move in the 3D move. And you don't realize it until you're there experiencing it. And
Hmm.
you know what I'm talking about when I say that in
Hmm.
relation to, your own experience. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then walking the grounds, like that was so therapeutic and energetic. And I feel like we were walking one on one with them at that time,
Hmm.
back years and years and years ago when
Yeah,
they built it.
yeah, yeah.
And being able to, this is the other part, being able to experience that. Now I did anticipate this, being able to walk into the temples and see the hieroglyphics on the ruins or in the temples, and the energy that exuded from those temples.
Mhm.
There is no words to capture it. There is no emotion to be able to. I think awe
Hmm.
is wildly, I think, the word that I use the most. It was just awe and breathtaking
Hmm.
and wonder. You stand back in wonder, thinking how and what capabilities, and above all, the artistry,
Hmm.
and then the history, the historical energetic imprints that are in those buildings. It is, yeah, it's phenomenal.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And as you say that, I just remember like the experience of walking in and feeling just by looking and not even interpreting yet the walls, just receiving the codes from them and the energy
Yes.
from them, and how it's like memories become like they unlock within you. at least they unlock within me. I'll speak for myself, but it's like they
Mhm.
unlock within me and it opens me to a whole remembrance, you know? And there's so much in this journey that we do that works with the energy of reclaiming our true nature, who we are, remembering our multidimensionality, our cosmic nature. And you spoke into that about, you know, beyond the 3D realm, how things move and shift, and you start seeing things in other realms or hearing
Mhm.
them or feeling them. And, you know, it's all of that coming together. And there's such a strong energy of that resurrection that happens. So it is for me this journey of bringing all those fragments in. Like you said, that experience is so profound that you had in the Great Pyramid, because that was the nature of the work we were doing. It was reclaiming all parts of our soul and like calling all of our energy back, you know. And that is the story of Osiris and Isis, right, where she collects all his pieces and brings him back into wholeness. So it is like really such a powerful story that you have, that you just shared. So thank you for that, because that is the journey and you had that experience. So
If
it's, yeah, wonderful.
if I could add this as
Of
well,
course. Yeah.
you just kind of triggered one of the biggest things that I wanted to learn was the
Mm-hmm.
history behind every single temple,
Mm-hmm.
what happened, who was involved, what their names were, what they look like, um, which brings me to um, please say his proper name, King Tut, please,
Tutankhamun. Yeah,
King
King
Tut,
Tut. King
King
Tutankhamun. Yeah.
Tut Akamun,
Tutank. So the Ankh, if
Tut
you say it
Ankh
Egyptian, Ankh.
Ankh
Tutankhamun. Yeah.
Amun.
Yeah.
So when we were in his underground
Mm-hmm.
tomb, that was yet another experience where, especially because of what was actually down there, which I'm not going to tell anybody who's down there. You have
Mm-hmm.
to go and see it. Um, and again, the hieroglyphics on the walls and just walking, the descent was amazing, and the energy you could feel uh, when you talk about receiving the codes. That's actually what I wanted to that what just kind of rang a bell.
Mm-hmm.
So the journey of every single temple that we went in, I feel like I received those codes and it started to really shift and mold or remold my DNA, so that by the time the journey to the pyramid was here or came, which was towards the end of the trip, that's when the real transformation happened. That's when the real gift, even though there was little gifts all along the way, the bigger gift was receiving myself back.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's so amazing.
Right.
It's so amazing. Yeah. And the more you share your experience, the more I'm so excited to go back again. You know, it's like all these memories coming back, you know, it's like definitely like I feel it within me. So, yeah, thank you for sharing all of
You're
that.
welcome. I would
Um,
definitely go back. I know you and I had spoken about
yeah,
in the future to come to go back.
yeah,
I feel like once was not enough. Even though you want to say it's enough, it's not enough. And we,
yeah,
one of the ladies that was on our trip, it was her 10th time going,
yes.
which, and there's still massive shifts and massive things that came to surface, which, to me, wow, 10th time going. And
Hmm.
yeah, so just, I, I feel like it's a massive transformation for people to go.
Mm,
Anybody who is on a spiritual journey of any sort,
mm,
or even on a journey to begin with themselves, and really, having a personal relationship with yourself is the most important.
mhm,
I have my husband and my children, and I love my children and I love my husband, but the most, and I want to say this because there are so many moms that are out there,
mhm,
And I know being a mom, you basically sometimes give up your identity and you give up who you truly are to help mold and raise your children. And the thing is the relationship with the self is the single most important relationship that you will ever have in your life is with yourself.
Mm.
And I do say this saying in my own practice all the time. You are the only one you will never leave nor lose. You came
Mm.
into this life all alone, even if you're a twin. You came into this life all alone and you will leave all alone. But that doesn't mean you're lonely because you have you yourself. And this pilgrimage, that this gift of this pilgrimage that you deliver and you lead with women and now with men
Mm-hmm.
is one of the single most gifts that somebody could give themselves
Mm.
in relationship to the relationship to the self.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow, thank you. That's so beautiful.
Welcome.
And so I feel every word that you say in that. I don't have children, but this has been as a witness to moms and working with women, it is what I see so often that, like forgetting who we are as women, right? It's like, okay, I'm giving everything to my children now,
Mhm.
and I'll come back to me when they get older. But it's like when a woman can establish solidity within herself and empowerment and connection to divinity, something greater, like how does that affect their children?
That's
It,
right.
it gives
That's the
them
exact same thing that I just thought about when you said that.
it gives them the strength, it gives them the wherewithal to find the power within themselves and not have to look outside for anything, to know that they are always supported, always divinely guided. And we're all on that journey anyways. It's like this has been the process of remembering, for everyone that is
Absolutely.
on this journey. So I really appreciate you sharing that because I feel like it's really big and everything's standing up on my head just from
Mhm.
from what you said. Like as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh yeah, there's so much power to it. So
talk
thank
talk
you.
about it. Talk about the I usually get the pull.
Yeah,
Being in Egypt, I had that the whole entire time.
you're right.
I was like, why bother even shaving, for crying out loud? It's like, you go into a temple and you're walking, in near into the temple and you're like, you got goosebumps all over your body. And yeah, so
Yeah. I love it. So good. Yeah. So another question coming up is what, post journey, what was that experience like for you coming back home to Ontario and integrating and like what, you talked about some newness birthing through you with your, with what you're doing with your work and things like this. So if you can share a little
so
bit about that.
it it was there was a I was really homesick from Egypt when I came home.
Mhm.
Uh, and part of that was, our incredible journey with the amazing women that we got to connect with
Mhm.
and have each other's back. So that part was a bit of a challenge in integrating because I feel like I was vibrating on such a high frequency, and then coming back. I don't want to sound like it's negative, but you come back into your world, and your world is not all high vibrating frequency.
Mhm.
But it's a good lesson for you to learn that you are the creator of your own atmosphere, energy, and environment. And you are solely responsible for creating that energy all over again. So basically, taking what you learned for myself, I'll speak for myself, taking what I learned in Egypt and utilizing that energy and then recreating it here, not only for myself and my family, but for my patients as well.
Mhm.
And, uh, you know, in my journey of coaching patients and the pain freedom method, uh, I was doing a lot. So I want to make sure I touch on this point because that's why the pilgrimage was so important because it was really about going into stillness.
Mhm.
And we as women don't do that enough. And I want to say between um, 2021, and I really became burnt out because of everything that I was doing. I was doing my coaching, I was doing mentoring with a coaching company, and I had my clinical practice. I had my children. I was still doing a little bit of work in HR, and I was too much. So it really helped me to, this journey really sparked and rebirthed the creativity and the energy for creativity.
Mm.
I had, when I decided to part companies with the coaching company for mentoring and walk, decided to just solely focus on my clinical aspect and my coaching.
Mhm.
I feel like I did not have any gas or mental capacity for creating anymore.
Mm.
So coming home from, and of course, after the loss of both my parents, I felt like I was drowning.
Mm.
And it did affect my health as well. I don't think I mentioned that, but it did quite affect my health in relation to the nervous system, which is one of the things that I work with patients in relation to remolding your nervous system so you have better vagal tone.
Mm.
So this gave me this spark. And I want to say it happened when I really realized it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks, because it took me a bit to integrate back into Eastern Standard Time.
Mhm.
So I had never been on a large trip such as that, meaning the time frame. I think the largest time frame I was on was 5 hours, which was Hawaii,
Mhm.
which was still quite a large base, but I didn't have all the energy integration, which I feel like was a massive thing.
Mhm.
So I had the spark that I was like, ooh, when I was this and that, like before I would work out and I would be walking and I would have all these magnificent ideas.
Mhm.
And anybody who is an online coach or does anything online, as you know, it really takes focus and creativity to keep your drive going.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's something that has come back. And there's a piece of the pain freedom method that I really wanted to start, quite honestly, in 2019. But again, I just feel like I was so gassed out
Mhm.
from just doing too much.
Mhm.
So, I'm in the process of, and the name is changing. So I know you and I had spoken about a particular name, but I've decided to actually call it the Yana Arsenault method. So it's literally teaching people how to use rebounding to not only create longevity, muscle tone, symmetry in the body, but work on creating vagal tone,
Mhm.
so calming the nervous system, learning how to release their own neck, their own back, their own hips using a specific rebounder. And the content that I'm creating, even now as I'm sitting here with you, I can see, ooh, I can do this and that. And it's original content. And I feel like it's from the codes that I received when I was in Egypt.
Mhm.
So that has really, I don't want to say it's, the gift, but
Mhm.
to me I feel like it's a massive, massive gift that I received, having that creativity and having this download, because even as I say it, I'm starting to actually sweat and goosebumps everywhere. So
Mhm.
I know when I get that physiological sensation in my body, spiritually wise, I'm plugged into exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
So you know money can't buy that. And just as I say that, I have like the pricklies up the side of my face.
Mhm.
um we're only here for a short time,
Mhm.
and in my mind, for me, this was the time to go, because originally, actually, you and I had spoken about it. I was originally going to go to Egypt in, I want to say it was 25. It was October
Mhm.
of 2025.
Mhm.
Yeah. And because of everything, I could not commit because we were taking care of my mom and she was ill.
Mhm.
And we didn't know what was really happening. So I could not commit to that time frame. So to me, it was just divine intervention
Mm.
of, timing, waiting for you to build and do whatever you were doing on your end, because it is a lot of work to put something like this together,
Mm.
and the magnitude and the teachings that you do teach while you're there. So I
Mm.
want to say personally thank you to you, because I know that you've done an astronomical amount of work for our group. I know the next group that you are carrying forth in
Mhm.
October. I know it does take a lot of time and energy. And yeah, the magic that happens and happened while we were there. Yeah, there's no words for it. There's no words for it.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, I I keep saying wow, but that's the word, right? It's like it encompasses so
Mm.
much. Every time I describe or attempt to describe my experience, the words that come to me are it's beyond the beyond. It's beyond Egypt is beyond the beyond. It's like hard to
Yeah.
really we can put words on it, but there's just so much that happens beyond the veil, lifting the veil, in the unseen realms, that
Mhm.
it just feels like it is difficult to put human words into to fully encompass the experience, and I feel though everything that you've shared today has really, yeah, it's just really brought to light the experience all over again in my bones and in my being. So I appreciate that because it's like lighting me up.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love that you are feeling that creative inspiration. And I can't wait for your rebounding programs to come out and to start working
Mm.
with them myself. Because I know for me, it's like this is something that I feel like all women to reclaim their bodies too and to get really healthy in them. And right when you said the word symmetry, like there's so much around, the masculine, the right side energetically, the feminine is the left side energetically, and then what we hold physically from those energetics of being out of balance or being too, go, go, go. And then the right side comes out of balance or then abandoning the feminine. And then the left side is out. And so just when you said that word symmetry, I'm like, yes, like this is going
Mhm.
to be amazing what you're bringing forward. So I can't wait. So how can people find you or where can they find you, to connect with you and your work?
So you can connect me presently at Pain Freedom Method, so www.painfreedommethod.com.
Mm-hmm.
And my email is Janna, so Janna at Janna, Janna, Arsenault, Arsenault.com. You can email me. And I do not have a phone number on my website. But to come on YouTube, the YouTube channel will be called the Yana Arsenault Method, exactly as I spelled it previous. So, yeah, I'm excited. It'll be free content for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's the next big part of birthing from the Pain Freedom Method. It was the movement part of it, because again, if I could just say this,
Mm-hmm.
my goal is to feel. So right now, I will be 48, and my goal is to feel as magnificent as I do right now when I'm 95.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a lot of people say, oh, but you'll be slower. And I don't. That is not in my DNA. I do not believe that. And I will still have strength, and I'll still have agility, and working on, you know, uh, endurance and brain cognition, all of that, all of that will still be in play when I'm 95.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what I'm teaching everybody is exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. It's very doable,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and again, it's bite sizes. For mothers that are out there, for busy entrepreneurial women,
Mm-hmm.
people that travel. There's no excuses. You can still do it. It's 12 or 24 minutes in your day. Do 12 minutes in the morning, 12 minutes at night, or do 24 minutes altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You have the time. And the thing I will say in relation to this, because this goes with Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
because I know some people say in relation to, when you're going on these big pilgrimages, it is an investment. So the one thing I will say to this is without your health, you will never be able to enjoy your wealth.
Mm.
Because on the journey of gaining your wealth, you destroy your health. And then when you go to enjoy that wealth, you don't have your health to enjoy the wealth. I know that's a tongue twister,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it taking care of yourself and doing the things that you love to do and that inspire you and elevate your frequency is the, if not one of the most important things to be doing in your life.
Mm.
So if Egypt is calling you, I will tell you there's a will and there's a way to go.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's so
You're
true.
welcome.
It's so, so
Mhm.
true. It really is so true. So I guess for that being said, I can share about the next Egypt journey and when it is. So the next Egypt journey coming up is open to both men and women, and it is from October 7th to the 17th, 2026. And we will be journeying along the Nile again and being on a private dahabeah, which is a sailboat, and our accommodations will be there for 4 nights, and then in a beautiful 5-star resort and hotel on the Nile again, not on the Nile on a boat, but in the resort, which is on a private island. That is in Luxor. And then we move our final leg of the trip in Cairo. And honestly, it is so transformative moving from the root chakra to the crown and the work that we're doing in the temples and just the space that we create for ourselves. And then the family essence that's created in the group and really being held with our wonderful guides, Rena and Fatma, as well. So, if this is something that's calling to you, please feel free to connect with me. You can find my info at www.soulawakeningschool.com. And if you scroll down, there's a part where it says sacred offerings, and you can find the details for the Egypt journey there and also book a connection call with me, which is free of charge to chat more about the journey. So thank you for joining us here today. And thank you, Janna, for sharing so openly and yeah, your heart and just everything. And I'm so excited to see everything that you create and to just walk this path with you as we continue our journey together as friends.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, have a beautiful day, night, or evening wherever you are in the world, and see you again soon.
Thank you so much.